Guys. All right, so my presentation is on The Lost Patrol. So The Lost Patrol is an American war film made in the 1930s by John Ford, Marion Cooper, and Cliff Reed. It is a remake of an earlier British silent film made in 1929 by the same, that is also called The Lost Patrol. So here's some basic info about the storyline before I talk about what happened in the movie. So The Lost Patrol, it starts when World War I is in progress and Britain is heavily involved in the war, and multiple patrols were assigned to far corners of the world on specific missions that typically only one person in the patrol would know about. Many of the men described the desert as having a blank look of death because a lot of these men didn't know if they would be coming back from the assignment that they were given, so they just described it as a blank look of death. And the Arabs were a huge worry to them, and really second only to being able to find food and water in the desert.
Okay. The movie version of the life of the Red Baron had some true history and some fiction added to be more interesting for the audience. In Van Richten's real life, he didn't always want to be a pilot, and he didn't start out as a pilot, as he did in the movie. In history, he was credited with 80 confirmed kills, but in the movie version, he shot down many more unrealistic fight scenes that pitted him and 20 other Germans against over 100 enemy aircraft. Finally, in real life, Canadian pilot Captain Arthur Roy Brown was credited with killing the Red Baron, though in reality it was proved that it was more likely to be someone on the ground, though nobody knows who. In the movie, he could have killed or been killed by the Red Baron many times. They spoke and had an ongoing friendship. The Red Baron was an amazing and interesting movie, although a mixture of history and fiction. The movie opened with the Van Richten dropping a wraith from his airplane onto the grave of an Allied pilot who he had shot down. That was saying to our friend and enemy, Captain Clyde Walker. As it closed, Kate sees a funeral wraith that was left by Captain Brown, leading to Manfred Van Richten, friend and enemy.
Right, so I wanted to compare the characters from the movie and from real life, so I did a couple on that. Next slide. All right, so Blaine Rawlings was a character in Flyboys. This part was played by actor James Franco. He was the main character in Flyboys. And although this character was not an actual character in history, this character was heavily inspired by the actor, or not the actor, but the fighter Frank Luke Jr. So Frank Luke was an American flying ace. What I thought was interesting was that he was actually not part of the Lafayette Escadrille. He had a total of 18 confirmed victories. And he was killed when he was 21 during the Meuse-Argonne offensive. Okay. So then the next one is George Fenant. He was an actual historical figure in the movie. He was played by actor Jean Reno. And he was in both Flyboys and in real life. He was the commander of the Lafayette Escadrille. And my favorite part of the movie was when we saw the lion in there, and so of course I had to look them up. So actually they had two lions, Whiskey and Soda. They were the mascots of the Lafayette Escadrille. Now the lions and Lufbery had a special relationship because Lufbery actually raised the lions. So that was pretty cute. And what I thought was interesting was that Whiskey was named Whiskey because the baby lion was known to drink a saucer full of whiskey at a time. And then the pair were eventually donated to the zoo after they ate the captain's expensive hat.